to spend their summers here. When the trees left, or were gone, were stripped out essentially, and that left all the open farmland, ground for farmlands and for orchards and so on. And then, let's see. I guess best to say that after they were kind of intertwined, but commercial business was coming here too. Commercial industry, commercial ships coming in the harbor. And along with during all those periods, we were building ships in this harbor. Everything, we built 50 ships. Anything from the wood, lumber hauling, sailing schooners, all the way up to the steamship passenger ships. The SS Kalamazoo was built here. The Eastland was launched here. Eastland's a very famous...
That's the one that sank in Chicago?
That's the one that flipped in the Chicago River, was launched here. SS Calhaven was built in, I think it was somewhere in Ohio, and then it was brought here to be finished off. So, a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's always been known for shipbuilding here. Maritime Museum's kind of continuing that tradition by building much smaller boats. But we're keeping up the building. So I'm going to spotlight a little bit of everything as we go around the harbor, based on those different industries. First of all, what I like where this clock tower is, this was at the end of North Shore Drive. North Shore Drive follows up along the coastline up into Allegan County. And a lot of the houses and hotels that were built for the resort industry was right up in this general area. There are some still here. Some are being used as private homes, or they're being used as bed and breakfasts. And there's a book that's been published about all the resorts. We have about 200 resorts in this area. And they're either up the river, out on farms, in town, wherever. Hotels, you name it. People's private homes, rent out a room. And there was a book written about that too called The Jewish Resorts of South Haven. But it tells where everything is still, or it's where it used to be, or the new names, or how it's being used now. There was a chain ferry that used to go right across through here up until about 1950. That was another way people could get across the river in this location. Otherwise, it was the bridge that we're going to go under. The harbor light, it's fully automated. It's essentially watched over by the South Haven Historical Society. Where you see the American flag and the signal tower, that's where the Coast Guard station ended up, because it was on the north side at one time as the U.S. Life-Saving Station. And then they moved it over to the south side, and it continued as the Coast Guard station, and then Coast Guard Auxiliary took it over. And then they had a fire, and then eventually it tore it down. The yellow house, the two-story house with a brown roof on it, that is the lightkeeper's house. So we don't really have a lighthouse per se. We have a lightkeeper's house and a harbor light. Well, we call it the lighthouse,
yep.
But that's... Well, Michigan Maritime Museum is using the lightkeeper's house now today to house their Great Lakes Maritime Research Library. A lot of the research we do for our displays and information at the museum, our galleries, is taken from research from that library. And it's a library where the public can go there and research things too, if they're writing a book or some kind of article. Mr. Hanna's, who started the lumbering business, had his family farm right up in here where the American Legion is now. American Legion took over the family house at one time. That was the original clubhouse, and then they built the new clubhouses up there. That's a great view from up there, even if you just drive up the parking lot to see the river and the channel and out into the lake. If you're affiliated at all with American Legion or want to peek over or something, it's a great spot right up there. We had two railroad lines coming through here. One was from here to Kalamazoo, and then another one that was a New York Central, it was a mid-central, so they came in and they could either go to South Haven or Hartford. Both of those railroad lines are now defunct, and the one to Kalamazoo has been converted to a bicycle trail now. It's the Calhaven Trail, the Rails to Trails program. And the next project is to get more attention put on the Van Buren Trail for that trail south of here. So we can kind of connect the two. Recently, South Haven just redid some of their streets to accommodate bicyclists coming from the trails to in town, and then we're hoping to connect that so they can continue on downtown. But that takes money to get those people